Hello, Serge here from the elevated back porch. I'm actually on the beach, in some beach in West Palm Beach on the 8th floor, where we're staying in this pretty nice condo. And DJ and I just got back from the golf course, and we're playing PGA National for Honda Classic this week. I had played the other course over there about 20-25 years ago, and I'd never been on this one. And this one is pretty, you're telling me it was pretty darn good, and it's an amazing track, huh?
Yeah, it is. I think it's probably one of the 3 toughest tracks we play all year, and it's just, they had a Ryder Cup there. I'm pretty sure they've had a PGA Championship there, and obviously they've made some updates to the golf course that have lengthened it and made it more difficult. But it's one of the more challenging ones we play, and ball striking is obviously at its utmost importance this week on this golf course.
Yeah, I think they've played the Champions Tour here a number of years in a row.
Yeah, they may have. I'm not sure.
I remember that 18th hole around the lake with the big bunkers short of the green. But this is basically almost like a U.S. Open course, because so many fairways are just, the landing areas are just super tight. The rough's up a little bit, I think you told me, this year compared to last year.
Yeah, well, they oversee down here obviously very heavily for the tournament, so the fairways and the rough are really nice and lush and green, and it's thick. And obviously when they get that rough up over 2.5 inches, even 3 inches, that grass is very thick, and it's tough to get through it, especially when the ball starts going down into it a little bit. Like, as I said, just one more thing to contribute to the tough playing conditions.
Well, I know when we hit the first par 3, which was like about 197 yards.
No, that was 220 yards.
Oh, 220 yards.
Yeah.
Okay. You're telling me this is just like the start of four really tough par 3s, and one of the things we talked about, especially when a couple of them are really got some water up close on one side or the other, that probably just hitting to the middle of the greens over there, and a few of these other holes with water are going to be the play from the fairway.
Absolutely, and unfortunately for all of you out there, that's a lot easier said than done. We're talking about some very, very challenging holes, and you'd love to just stand on the tee and say I'm going to hit it in the middle of the green every day, but from 220 yards with water surrounding a green, and obviously the pressure of a par 3 and not wanting to miss, and everything else, like I said, that's just the things that make this golf course so difficult. Obviously, in my mind, I'd like to hit to the middle of those greens. If you play the par 3s even par this week, you're going to better the field by at least 4, 5, 6 shots for sure. I mean, there's going to be a lot of bogeys made on those holes.
And we're talking tough, even if the wind's not blowing.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously we're in West Palm Beach, Florida. We know the wind is going to blow. It would be an actual miracle if you went 4 days without some pretty good wind down here. So, playing conditions, course conditions, everything's going to be difficult. I'm looking forward to a good week. I actually love this golf course. It's probably in the best shape we've ever seen it, and I'm excited about playing it. I enjoy coming down here every year.
Well, let's talk about 2 things that happened. You told me when I was coming down here to see you that you had found something big in your swing, which really wasn't your swing, it was actually your setup, and it's made a difference where you can stay put and actually be, behind the ball hitting it and not just jumping forward. What did you find?
Well, obviously we first kind of figured this thing out last year at Disney, and I had a tough day hitting. It was in the 3rd round, and I had a tough day. I just felt like my timing wasn't there. I felt like there was really nothing I could do to get my timing there. And I realized that it wasn't so much an issue with timing. I finally figured out it was an issue with ball position. I went to the range after the round. I asked Dad to stand in front of me. We had a look at the ball position, and because I told him, I said, something's wrong here, and I feel like the swing's pretty good, but I'm having too much trouble getting back to the ball square. And that was when it first started. And unfortunately, I've moved it back a little bit since then, and it still wasn't enough, actually. I think what I've gotten is I've just gotten into walking into the ball, and instead of drawing the tee like we talk about to line up and then get your feet set, I think unfortunately I've started with my tee being a little bit too far to the left, and that's led me to have my ball position a little too far forward. So what I've done is I've moved the ball back again even a little bit farther, and it's just been tremendous. I'm staying on top of the ball now more. I'm not having to slide into it to make contact, and it's a tough feeling when you're sliding into the ball, because if you slide a little bit too much or just not enough, that's the result in a push or a pull, as you know and as I know. And now it's great because I'm not having to do any sliding. I've got my bump, which of course is our version of what we call the lateral shift, the bump to start the downswing, and I'm able to stay right there. And it's been great. I mean, obviously you've seen me hit balls the last couple days. We got another day tomorrow with the Pro-Am and then the tournament, but I mean, I feel great about my ball striking right now, and I really do feel like it's only going to get better.
Well, I think the thing that I saw and I liked about it is the position is okay when you're hitting the ball solid and the divots you were just clipping and shaving the divots
Right.
on the range, and even on the golf course where the fairways were really soft today, you were taking divots that came out like pretty good pelts, but they were still shallow and they were level,
Yeah.
which was nice.
Yeah, it's wonderful because you know you're going through the ground clean. You're not hitting into the ground. You're hitting through the ground, and that's the way I always try and tell people when you're really hitting the ball well. And we say shaving the grass out of the ground, and people say, well, what's shaving the grass out of the ground? I always say that means you're hitting through the grass. You're not hitting into the grass. So you're really the time that the club is actually in the ground is so much less, and there's so much less effort into the ground.
Well, that's because we park tar through the
Yeah,
shot,
exactly.
and we tear the grass out.
Exactly.
In fact, we worked on the park tar today because I mentioned a few times that you made some pretty good swings but it looked like you weren't standing up fast enough through the shot, and we worked on your upper body, your head and your shoulders releasing, chasing your hands up faster to really increase that, because
Absolutely.
Now when you're there and your arms are straight out, you really have to pop
Yeah.
tar to stand up into that tee finish.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, I mean, with the new ball position, obviously it feels great, but I'm still, still working on the timing a little bit. Obviously, my timing is not far. I mean, I'm very, very close. But it's like anything else, I'm just feeling better about it every shot I hit. I feel that much better about
See,
it.
and the irony is most of the time we talk about the setup determines the motion, we're always thinking about grip, we're thinking more about posture and alignment more than anything, and ball position many times can be off a little bit, and it's like possibly one of the last things you ever think about, but yet that can cause the thins, the chunks, and rights, the lefts, everything. So
again, it just, as we always say, that's how important setup is, guys. I mean, when I was at Disney, I had a terrible ball striking round in the third round, and I'm positive that if I'd have had the ball position that I had today, I was home last week working on my game on a week off, and that's where I started working on it, and then obviously I've brought it down here this week, and I need to continue with it because it's wonderful. If I had good ball position that day, I'm positive that I would have hit it well, because I felt like I was swinging well, but it was just the setup, the ball position and the setup, that had me off all day, and it was frustrating.
And for us, we know ball position is wedges through the 7 around the middle of the stance, and then everything moves gradually towards the left heel, but it shouldn't get inside the left heel, especially because we flare our feet. So if you got it inside the heel, you'd be up in it'll be way forward.
That's when
it has
you have
to be
start lunging into the ball to hit it.
DJ's driver looks about that far behind his left heel now, but if you were to take his foot and square it up like that, it'd be just about on the heel or slightly forward of the heel.
Right where it
but
needs
when
to
it's
be.
open, it's right back here, and so it's working out. So if you're doing a lot of things, check your posture. Tomorrow we'll talk to him about your other newfound thing you've been thinking about. And we will tell you it's about putting. So tomorrow we'll talk about a couple things he thought about.
Well, 2 things will come to you guys with tomorrow. And it's just one thing that I've had to do, and then another thing that I'm experimenting with. But one thing was a necessity that we're going to talk to you guys about, and the other thing is just something that I kind of brainstormed with, and it has a little bit to do with posture and things like that. But obviously we hope you guys get some good vibes from everything we had to say today, and definitely blog us with your questions or anything that you may need, and we'll certainly try and get back to you as soon as possible.
So I'll just close by saying that I love for my students to think about things and run them by me. If it's good, I'm never happier to say anything, and Deej knows it as well as things, and sometimes he's run things by me and I say, I don't know about that, and yep, I like that, and this is one I liked with the ball position and what we're going to tell you tomorrow. So from DJ and the Surge on the upper back porch, we'll be coming back to you tomorrow. I don't know, maybe we might do it front porch, but we'll be coming from somewhere back to you tomorrow. So from DJ and the Surge, we'll be talking to you all again soon.